Thank you for staying with Nile Oracle and joining us now to discuss the economic dimension of the Global South as Rise is Dr. Khaled Youssef. And Dr. Youssef is a member of the Expert Committee for Egypt Vision 2030, and he's also an advisor to the National Alliance for the Industrial Revolution at the Ministry of Military Production. Dr. Youssef, always a pleasure to have you with us. It's been a long time, and thank you for joining us here on Nile Oracle.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is mine, usually.
Dr. Youssef, how do you see the Global South's rise? I mean, is there such a rise? Because we have to ask the question first. I mean, is there such a rise? And if there is, how do you see it? How fast is it? How influential is it?
Yeah. Actually, first of all, before we talk about the rise of the economies and the rise of the, let's say, the readiness of the different aspects of the economy to accommodate today and tomorrow, we have to think of why there is a rise, or what is the motive beyond the rise for the economic, let's say, revolutions or jumps that took place and take place today and will always take place in the future, because of we have always an increasing population versus a limited resources. So usually we have an increasing population, means that we need to develop values, more values. Also we have inventions and evolution of technologies. When we talk about technology,
we give a bigger chance for growth?
We have a bigger
when we
chance.
Have bigger population?
Yeah, we have a bigger chance for growth because we have to accommodate the key resources for the population. Mm-hmm. So we have to accommodate the water and the food and the essential of life for the population. To do this, we need to develop technologies. Not only technology related to the electronic era, technologies in the agriculture, technologies in the bio, technologies everywhere. So the economy increase usually is associated with the value increase. So once you increase the value, we have a corresponding economy increase, because economy mainly is based on the concept of developing a value, developing a value, and then the capability of exchanging this value with others. So when we talk about the KPIs of the economy, we have several KPIs like the GDP and a lot of KPIs talking about this. Also we have the share of the person against or versus each resource and each value stream. So once we increase the value, once we develop more values, this means that we increase the chance and the opportunity to have better economic growth in general, though there is limitations and challenges. Yeah. So we are constrained by challenges and limitations, and also we have to develop values to ensure the sustainability of the world to be there.
Indeed, and you know, confirming your words, the Global South economies grew by an estimated 4.2% last year, and that's more than triple the G7 average, for instance. So how fast or slow is the Global South's rise economically?
Generally, we have a change, a demographic change, and we have a complete change in the map of the economies worldwide. Talking about Africa, we have a potential development areas and eras in the African region, especially in the south part, in the south side of Africa. We have countries today that is very pioneer in developing, as we mentioned, technologies that add to the value of the economy, because there is a need in the northern side, and this need is covered by the southern side. So we have agri-tech technologies in Nigeria, for example. We have fintech technologies in other countries. We have water resources in other countries. We have now countries like Tanzania, Nigeria, Uganda, names that was not heard about before. We have today Egypt, which is a key transformative step, because Egypt today, when we talk about the economy rise, it's not only about the KPI that we mentioned, that we have a problem in the economy. We have problems in the economy, but we have key potentials, and we have let's say a new resources and new values that was not there before. I will mention to you that, for example, when you are talking about the green area in Egypt, which is the capability to produce food, which is as long as you produce food, as long as you produce value, then you have a better chance to economy. If you are talking about 1950 for like 6 million fedans of agriculture, today we are talking about 9.5 to 11.5 fedans more developed, with 3 million fedans developed over the last 5 years, which is enhancing and increase the value beyond. Also, you have the part of the verticalization, how to make use better of the meter square of development. This means that you have a potential roadmap toward increase of value. You have a labor cost that is now competitive in terms of pricing, means that you are a good potential for offshoring strategies and for outsourcing your values. This means that you have now some capacities and capabilities to increase the economy. Though you have challenges, yes, we have challenges. The same applied for small countries, smaller than Egypt. You have, as I mentioned, for example, Nigeria, that is today very, very advanced in two main and key aspects of technologies that add to the economy big time. And it, by the way, it is a destination for a lot of European countries today, like Egypt. So Nigeria, for example, is very advanced in the fintech technology and the agri-tech technologies. So
it's not just about oil.
Not just about the oil. Oil is another aspect, which is the economy of findings, because we have two types of economies. The economies of the existing resources, like the materials, like the minerals, like the oil and the gas. It's existing, and you find it, you explore it, so you find it. This is a type of economy. We have another type of economy, which is the economy of producing. So you have the basic value, and then you need to increase the value chain and develop more. And so you are producing on top of this. So we have country that is very developed in terms of producing the value. We have another country that is very developed in finding and exploring what they have under their in their water and in their ground segments. On the Asian side, we have KSA. Has oil and gas and very advanced. We have Kuwait. We have a lot of GCC country that is very advanced in this area. But if you go further to the Far East, you will find the economy of production. And then we have the economy of finding and exploration, and then the economy of production.
And these are all united here in the south, if we can say so. I mean, surely China and India are still counted as the south and developing nations when we say, for instance, that 80% of global growth comes from the south. So surely China and India are here. The BRICS, I wanted to ask you about the BRICS. How influential is this group for the voice of the south? The fact that countries like Egypt, like Iran, like Indonesia, like Ethiopia have joined the BRICS. What does this tell us?
I see, in my point of view, the BRICS is important because it makes some sort of disruptive change in the correlation or the association between the value and the currency. You know about the petrodollar. Who makes the petrodollar? Who makes the petrodollar is some false association of the oil capabilities with the dollar, and the dollar is becoming the only intermediate currency for international treatments, international payments across countries. So you need to open the door for the other, first of all, to put the dollar in its well-assessed values, and to, let's say, weaken the tight coupling between the dollar and all the values across the world. Even in Egypt, if you are producing a good value and you need to sell it to the external world, you need to secure your payments in dollars, for example, though your currency is the Egyptian pounds. So yes, the Egyptian pound is impacted positively because ultimately you need to make the change between from the dollar, which is the standard or the previously agreed standard for exchange of value in terms of currency versus the value that you are producing. So if we break this association, this tight coupling between the dollar and the values produced by the countries, then comes the BRICS to make the first step towards putting this in a completely different basket. So it's a matter of let's say, put off the leverage of some dominating currency on values that is not actually related to it. It's related just by history and by dominance of some.
So you think the petrodollar is losing influence?
It should be in the future.
Is it now? I mean, the Iran war before
today,
that?
Today, not that big impact, but yes, it is on the way toward this. This is my point of view, because again, we have big giant countries that will not allow this type of association, especially after this way of I will say random and uncalculated measures done by the United States in the current period. However, I see that there is other countries that is rising on the scene and trying to make this type of let's say balancing the association between the currency and on one side and the value on the other side.
And if the petrodollar ever weakens, it's going to be because of the BRICS?
Not
mainly.
Yeah, mainly because there is a new voice talking about a new
BRICS Plus. BRICS Plus.
Which new different associations between the currency and the values, which is not the case 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And remember, 50 years ago, the origin beyond this is some agreements between the American side and the Arabian side on making this link. OPEC. Yes. And this is actually one of the this is one of the let's say steps that makes the power of the US dollar on the other currencies and make it controlling every each currency. Though there is no backup of gold, there is no savings in front of it, and we all know that there was different let's say two main milestones that took place since 1945, which is the World War and
1973 of course.
1973. So we see this type of impact on that. So again, if you open the door to have this, and again, it's not about currency. Currency is just a way to exchange value. You have to make some sort of intermediate value for exchange. So the actuality is not in the intermediate value, which is at the end of the day, it's just a paper.
Yeah.
But the representation of the value is the most important. That's why when we talk about the economy, we are not talking about the currency. It has its own policy, but we talk about the generation of the value, the production of the value, which is a type of economy, and the exploration of the value, another type of economy. So you have to classify countries. Are you doing the value by exploration or by producing? When you talk about producing...
Where does Egypt stand here?
Both. We have gas reservoir, so we have exploration, and we have minerals, and we have special type of minerals and sand for the silicon industries, and we have marbles. We have a lot of resources inside, and you know that lately we make some sort of a scam for the gold reservoir, which is existing. Sukari. Yes. And there was lately a scan of an aerodrone scan for this reservoir.
That's your area of expertise.
There was
navigation.
Exactly, there was a remote sensing activities that trying to detect
space navigation. Expert,
to detect the actual reservoir of the country from the gold and the other also metals. So you have here in Egypt.
And we have production, and we have an industry, we have an agriculture. We have when we talk about agriculture, then we turn to the production side of the value. So agriculture is producing value. But you have a good maturity in terms of experience, in terms of this is a service, producing of service. You have tourism, this is a service as well. You have Suez Canal, which is a very strategic canal. You have the economic area. Egypt has a very diversified economy.
Egypt has a very diversified sources of economy, and also has a diversified sources of threats. And that's because Egypt is very pioneer, very different, very strategic. That's why the case is different, and the balance is very difficult to manage.
Dr. Youssef, Egypt has always called for a fairer, more inclusive global economy. what can be done here? Egypt has been a voice for the South, you know, for decades and throughout its history. But again, a fairer, more inclusive global economy. Is this happening, and how can it be achieved?
This is happening, yes. But how to be achieved? This is happening, but not with a fast rate. Again, when we talk about inclusive economy, which is a very good point, we have to, let's say, differentiate between because as we mentioned, we have several potential channels and potential sources of economy for Egypt to take a good place. And again, we have in front of it, as we mentioned, in front of these values, in front of this competitive edge, we have also several threats that hinder this process. As you see, by peace and by war. I mean, there are a lot of activities that took place around Egypt to do this. So when you talk about the progress and the rate, you are not working in an ideal world. You are not working in
a vacuum.
In a vacuum. You have a lot of resistance. It's not a must to have this resistance inside the country, but most of the resistance you have because of external factors. So when you try to make some sort of speed in terms of economic development and you were on the right way, you have the war of Ukraine, and then you have another problem with COVID, which is not, by the way, natural. And we have another threat
Gaza,
of
Iran.
Gaza and Iran. And then you have some sort of...
The refugees that, you know, yeah, you have Sudan, you have Libya.
You have Sudan, we have Libya, we have Syria, we have then
before
now
that,
Iran and Hormuz. So we have a lot of several factors. So when you talk about the army...
The high dam, the Ethiopian, I mean,
yes,
the Renaissance dam.
All of these are very...
If not for the high dam, I mean...
Yeah, I see that I see that usually the resistance that you have is proportional to the activities that you are doing. If you see a big resistance and very aggressive resistance, it means that you are doing a big effort. And you are moving and you are trying to change. So usually the resistance is proportional to the effort and to the motive that you are working with. I see that in the last 15 years, the volume of the resistance that we have and hinder the progress, though the progress was not hindered, and the projects are being completed.
Speaking of the project, we only have a minute or two left, but because there was a very important event today, at Daba, the nuclear power plant, I mean, the project is really moving with great speed. Your comment on that, and how will it help Egypt become the energy hub it wants to be and it deserves to be here in the region?
Locally, the energy file, it make a dramatic change, especially the electricity file. So you don't have a problem of the fossil fuel shortages that we have today. So this, by the way, politically and strategically, it is lowering down the barrier that we have with the...
And will it help us as an energy hub?
Energy hub in terms of export.
Yes.
So it means that you have the possibility to export to the neighboring countries.
Yeah.
And
it will.
It is, yes.
That's how big a Daba is.
It is a very strategic project.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. But it's always a great pleasure to have you with us, and we hope to have you again soon and have more time to talk with you and to listen to you, dear sir. Dr. Khaled Youssef, the member of the Expert Committee for Egypt Vision 2030 and the advisor to the National Alliance for the Industrial Revolution at the Ministry of Military Production and the Space Navigation Professor and Expert. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Always a pleasure having you. Hope to see you again soon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching us. Please stay with Nile TV.